I played basketball for the first time yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time in like a really long time.
Mm-hmm. You sore? I play with like my dad plays weekly with like his adult friends, and so I'll go with him a decent amount. But the whole last semester, I had a class during like a night class during when he plays, and not last week, but the week before was my first time playing since like the summer. I was sore for like 3 days, like literally, and I fell on my knee at one point, and like it was so sore, and I was just like every time I got up, I was like, ugh!
Yeah,
making an old man cry. But I played this last Monday, and I feel fine.
Yeah, I wasn't even really that sore. It was more like I just don't have the. Is it going?
You were a lot quieter right then.
I just don't have the stamina to like I was out of breath by like after running back and forth like up and down the court like 3 times. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I will say I'm about to say something, but we take a note that we usually just do half court when I play.
Oh, okay.
And I get to a point where it's like the first 2 games are like really rough, but then after that I feel like I can play all night. Like I'm still tired, but I just like after like the first 2 games, like your throat, like you can feel in your lungs, and like it just feels gross. But then after that, you're like, okay, I'm okay.
I got to that point, like I got to the point where like I'm too tired to like keep moving really quickly, like faster than I should have.
Yeah, but full court is rough. So
yeah,
I'll give you that.
All right.
on this episode of Ball Talk.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, welcome back everyone to What's on Our Screens. Thanks for indulging our little basketball talk right there. I got Caspian here with me.
And there's 2 things that are special about this episode. One,
we're filming it. We'll see how it turns out. I don't know where we're going to upload it to or what's going to happen to it.
We have our own YouTube. And there's actually some Zoom episodes that were from students, like when I think campus was went on lockdown in the pandemic. But we do have a YouTube channel. I think it's just, again, TU Studio 151. But
I didn't know that.
But the second thing I was going to say is this is special, is this is our first recording of the year.
Oh, yeah.
We posted 2 episodes already in the year, but they just were
look
recorded.
at that. There are 3 YouTube videos.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah. I didn't know we had that. We have 1 subscriber.
Nice.
The 5th subscriber can come on the podcast.
Hey, there you go.
So if you are lucky number 5, let us know.
In the fine print, you have to be in the Tulsa area.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about 2022 movies today. Just kind of a year in review. We wanted to do this before break, and then I felt like I hadn't seen enough. And I'm glad I waited because I saw a movie we'll talk about in a little bit. And I was like, yep, that needs to go way up on the list. So I'm glad we waited.
Yeah. I know you're a big movie buff, obviously. We talk about movies a lot. So I'm interested in to hear like just your takes this year, and like, you know, maybe talking about at the end of the episode just how you felt in terms of just like the cinema that came out this year and if it was a good year or not. But yeah, I don't know. Do you want to start with, I know it's kind of hard to go like chronological and like in terms of like what came out earlier this month, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it seems like some of the stuff that came out at the beginning of the year feels like it came out like eternity ago. Like even like I don't remember. I think I was probably talking to you or like maybe Matt about like the Batman and Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it just seems crazy that came out in the same year as Avatar.
Yeah, that does feel weird.
Yeah, that feels like 2 years ago that movie came out.
I'm down to talk about both those because those are definitely 2 of my favorites from this year. I know the Batman, like some people were mixed about it and they're like it's way too long. I didn't feel that way at all. Like I thought it was really good. I thought Robert Pattinson did like a great job. I also liked that it was kind of like we didn't get this introduction story like we always do in like the the origin story. It just like jumped right into it. And again, it's just he's darker, like in terms of like a more kind of grim storyline. I don't know. What were your thoughts on it?
I really liked it. Sorry, I'm trying to.
That was a great take.
Hold on. Yeah. There it is. I was trying to look at how many. It's loading. I was trying to look at how many movies came out this year, like some of the big ones that were longer than 3 hours. There's not that many. I thought it was going to be more. But Avatar was 3 hours and like 12 minutes. Babylon's like 309. RRR, which was really big this year, it's like 304 or something. Batman's like just barely not 3. And then like Black Panther and Tar and The Fabelmans and Everything Everywhere All at Once are like sitting at like the 240 mark.
Wow, I don't even remember Everything Everywhere All at Once being that long, but
I think maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. 220.
Okay.
But I was just thinking about how there were a lot of long movies this year. Just you saying about how the Batman was 3 hours. Anyways, the Batman. I really like it. I'm excited to see what Matt Reeves goes on to do, because it sounds like they're going to be doing another one now. It's been they kind of went back and forth on it, and there's been like some tumult in the Warner Brothers Discovery, like, I don't know, what do you call that? Warner Brothers and Discovery are now the same company. Okay. And so then there's been a lot of fallout from that, including like just canning the Batgirl movie that was filmed and was being edited.
Wow, I thought it still got released. I didn't know.
Oh, no. They just like, nope, never coming out. Tax write-off. Yeah.
Did they do that with the Flash too?
No, apparently the Flash is still coming out apparently. And they're still in talks with them to continue to have them play the Flash.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a whole can of worms, right?
Yeah.
I thought there was I remember that there was talk about completely scrapping it, and I thought that they were like leaning towards that way, but that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then now James Gunn is like running the DC film stuff, and I don't know what they're gonna do. But this was good. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I watched it at the beginning of the year, like in theaters when it came out, and I watched it over break again. But I just like Batman a lot. Like my favorite games are like the Arkham Knight game, or like just the Arkham series game. So I really enjoyed it. I also liked I don't know how much you remember, but the Riddler was like the main villain, and he essentially was mostly targeting like very privileged and like powerful people. And so there's this kind of like conflicting, like I felt so like similar to the argument of like Thanos did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And in terms of like, well, he's kind of taking out these like garbage people, but is still the villain. And like, I thought it was also funny, like the kind of community that he made, like on like a sketchy website, and like he'd be live streaming. And I remember like one of my favorite parts watching it in theaters was like reading the comments of the live streams, and it just was really funny. And I think also just kind of modernizing it in the sense that we could kind of see something like that today. And like obviously, some sketchy things come out of sketchy forums. In modern day. So I feel like it was a little bit hinting at that too, which was just interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you wanted to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once too?
I'm down.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it. I saw it twice in theaters, and then one time after that. Just like because I wanted people to see it, and then just watching it with other people. But really good. I remember we saw it together, and you had already seen it, and we may have been in here, but I was like, "What's it about?" And you were like, "The IRS is trying to shut this like laundromat down," and that's all you said. You're like, "That's all you need."
Yeah. I don't know. I've been like, same as you, is like, I really loved it. I saw it twice in the theaters. I haven't seen it since, but I've been like wanting to watch it again and like show it to people.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like it's almost like I'm hesitant to show it to my family because I feel like it's almost too weird.
That's what. So I watched it with my parents the last time, like my most recent time watching it, like over the summer, and I like had to sit them down. I was like, "This is gonna be weird."
Yeah.
And it's like it's supposed to be weird, and yeah.
Did they enjoy it?
Yeah, I think so. I think my mom was like, "This is crazy," but I feel like they enjoyed it for the most part because it's weird, but it's not like graphic or like any terms of weird. It's just literally like it's gross.
Just
like
yeah, it's like gets really absurd.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought the whole multiverse kind of idea has been like been relevant in like I feel like a lot of cinema stuff. So the fact that they did it in a way that still was like new and kind of entertaining, I think I really liked because I think that can be kind of an overdone kind of plot or theme, but I thought it was done really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been as like the award season is starting to like ramp up. I've been seeing a lot of interviews with the directors, more Daniel Kwan than Daniel. It's like Shiner. But it's been really interesting listening to them talk about the film and about how they've got a lot of really good insight about the film industry and what it's like to be living in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that came through in the movie. That was just like really insightful and interesting. In one of the like roundtables that I was watching with him, Jordan Peele was also on, and it was really cool. I haven't really like listened to him talk about Nope, and it was really cool to listen. Have you seen Nope?
Yeah. I know. I think we've talked about Nope, but you can still bring it up.
Yeah, because I think is that I've been like going back and forth between Everything Everywhere All at Once and Nope.
Being like the best from this year. And I feel like every time I've been on like a plane, or like the last time I watched Nope was on a plane, because I was just like, I just want to see it again. And just like that last like 30 minutes, and for those who've seen the movie, it's like that last 30 minutes where they're trying to catch this thing on film, and they've got like the whole setup of like, they're like stitching the like big parachute kite together, and then like the scene of like of Daniel Kaluuya's character like riding the horse down with the big thing like following him, like all of that stuff is just so like perfect to me that I'm just like, I could watch that just like on repeat for forever, and just like, I don't know. So Nope was the one that was like really like, I was excited because it was like a new Jordan Peele movie, and I've really liked his last two, and then it was like, it just like, I think this is my favorite of his movies. I think Get Out is a better movie, but I think that this is my favorite of his three. I think I was expecting it to be like scary, and it was.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it fell definitely under the sci-fi, which is nothing wrong with that, and still was like a gorgeous film. But yeah, I think I went with that intention, so maybe my reaction of leaving it wasn't so like in awe, but I still like really liked it and thought it was like unique. But I think that's maybe why it doesn't come to mind for me as like being significant. But that could have just also been my fault for not knowing a whole lot about it before going into. I was just going based off us and and get out.
Yeah. I was trying to get like other people to watch it, and they were like, no, I don't want to watch, like, I don't want to watch a scary movie. And I'm like, it's not. It's really not. It's more of like a sci-fi.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really interesting, and the whole this doesn't really spoil anything. It's just something at the beginning they talk about, like how the ranch is run by. It was connected to the same family when like the first like essentially series of pictures that kind of made the first what we know today as like a GIF or whatever, a GIF.
Yeah,
but that was like the first.
Like frames of like individual photographs that were stitched together
that made like a video,
you know,
which I had actually learned that in my photography classes. So I thought that was interesting to like see someone utilize that, and then also like a whole kind of fictional history behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There were, it's like really about, you know, like the spectacle and like filming and like making movies. And there were a lot of films this year about making movies. Did you see, I guess it would be like Babylon, The Fabelmans, I don't know. There were a couple others, and I'll think of them as I'm going along.
I haven't seen either of those. I remember when we were talking. We were talking about this at some point, just how a lot of films came out, kind of critiquing or portraying Hollywood in a certain time or era. And that's when I even was like, well, Nope kind of does that. And I think that was when we were talking with Matt, because I brought that up because like we do kind of have this. It seemed like how that family like had essentially horse actors that would come into a lot of Hollywood films were kind of like mistreated, or like just kind of there still was like prejudice, I guess.
Yeah,
but that's a whole other critique. But yeah,
I was mainly using that to try and squeeze in my Babylon little rant, just because that was one of the ones that I hadn't seen before break, because it hadn't been widely released yet, and I was like, I would really like to see that before we have this conversation about some of the best movies. And I'm glad that I did wait, because it was like spectacular, and I just like, it's one of the few times I think like I can think back to Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then some of the movies from different years where I like walked out of the theater and was like, you know, like still shaking, because I was like, that was like really, really good. It was like flew by. It doesn't even feel like it was like 3 hours and 12 minutes of movie that I just like sat down and watched, because it's just moving constantly. If you've seen like Boogie Nights, it almost felt like that, where especially the first half, where it's like the first hour and a half of the movie is just like constant. There's constantly something happening. There's just like nonstop action. Especially, I think like the first 45 minutes is all just this one big Hollywood party in like the 1920s. And there's like a jazz band like playing in the background. And the score is really, really good. I'm going to have to like show it to some of it to you after we're done recording, because I was listening to an interview with the guy who composed it, and it was like essentially it's just like the jazzy sort of the like quick jazzy sort of stuff that you would have heard at that time, but with like the modern day like house music, like kick on the floor for like in like, you know,
like an 808 or something.
Yeah. So that with like the jazz instruments and sound, it's really, really cool. But it just like, it's just like it gets your like blood pumping, and I just loved every second of like the first 30 minutes. And then there's a couple of scenes where just like you can definitely just like let Margot Robbie cook, and that was just like really great. Like what's the one? It's not like entirely Margot Robbie, but there's have you seen Singing in the Rain? There's a lot of Singing in the Rain in it, but there's like the transition from like silent films to talkies, and there's one scene where it's like they're trying to make it's like the first time that they're trying to get like the talkies to work, so they've got like the big sound equipment and everything, and everybody needs to be like silent on set because they can't just like cut other sounds out like we can now.
Yeah.
So they're like trying to get everyone quiet on set. She's got to like get to her specific like mark on the floor, so she's right below where like the microphone is hanging, and then they've got the camera guy in like a box so the camera isn't making any noise for the audio, and it's just like 10 minutes of them like trying to get like one good shot, and then something just keeps like screwing it up, and it's like the funniest thing I watched like all year.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah. The other like movie about making movies was The Fabelmans, which is like Spielberg's pretty autobiographical film about like what it was like for him, like growing up, and like how he started making movies and stuff. It was really, I mean, it's a Spielberg movie, and like he doesn't really make bad movies, just like not as good movies, but this one was really good. And it was interesting to see how he's like, his parents got divorced, and that's like a big thing, and like a lot of his movies are like parents who are, fighting, or the parents are divorced. Like that's what, E.T. is. You can see a lot of it in like Close Encounters and stuff like that. And it's just like a constant theme throughout his work. And he's like finally like putting his real life experience on the screen. And I feel like it's probably very, like cathartic and for him to just like finally put that all out there.
Yeah, it seems very kind of about a character.
Yeah.
I guess. Or maybe not.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I didn't understand what you're saying.
I was just saying that seems not very Spielberg.
That
seems a little bit like out of character. So that's interesting.
Yeah. But it was really, I guess it was like he didn't really want to do it while his parents were still around, and his dad had just passed away like 2 years ago. He was like 102 or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
what he did?
I don't know. I don't know if he was like waiting, but it was kind of also just like the coming out of COVID, or going into COVID, just like, the whole industry like shut down, and he was like, okay, and I mean, that was like a lot of what came out this year. A lot of the films that came out this year were like filmmakers took like a look back and were like, okay, this industry is kind of, fragile right now. If I only get to make, one more movie in my career, what's that movie going to be? And I think that's kind of what he saw it as, is like, if I could make one more movie, what should it be?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. I don't think this is going to be his last film. I think he's probably going to continue to make films until he dies.
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of the mindset behind like this film, and probably Armageddon Time as well, which is another like autobiographical film about the filmmaker, James Gray, about him like growing up in somewhere in New York City. I don't remember which borough. But his like
you're all good.
Sorry about that. About like him growing up and some of the experiences that he saw growing up, and how that kind of interacts with our like the idea of the American dream back then in like the 80s, and what that kind of looks like now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That
Very interesting film. Yeah. I don't know. Was there anything you wanted to bring up? You had some questions.
Yeah, I was gonna like
I've been talking for too long.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry. I don't have anything to contribute because I haven't seen them. But yeah, I was gonna maybe because we've been talking about things that are good. Like, what's something that either just flopped in general that you thought, or you went in thinking it was gonna be a really good film and it just did not do well.
There's one.
Okay.
There's probably others if I really thought about it, but Amsterdam was really bad in my opinion. I think a lot of people felt that way. The critics definitely did. And I was like,
Yeah.
Critics are usually pretty hard on David O. Russell's movies. So it's like, usually, though, they're like pretty fun and it'll be a good time. And I was like really close to walking out.
Wow. Okay.
Which I don't think I've ever done in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Like I've like turned off a couple of movies like halfway through when I'm like watching at home, but I don't think I've ever
like just
like, spent my $10-$12 to go to the movie theater and then being like, yeah, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. I think I did that. This is just not relevant to the topic,
ahead.
But I think I did that with one of the Annabelle.
Oh yeah.
But it was like one of the cheap days where it's like like $5 for a ticket or something.
Yeah.
And I just was sitting there, and the person I was with, and we were like, "This is really bad," and just left.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I just found it really. I wrote a review on it. You can probably
let's get the juicy.
Where do I view that at? I don't remember. I've been so used to what here it is. What was my complaint? Really bad editing. Really, really bad editing. That was probably the most frustrating part. There was like some fun performances. And it was like there's supposed to be like a mystery to it. And then there was like the first like 30 minutes was like, ooh, mystery. And then it got like really distracted for like the next hour. Mm-hmm. And in the last 15 minutes, it was like, oh yeah, there's a mystery. Here, let me explain to you what happened.
Yeah.
It's just tired of it and frustrated with it by the time it was done.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In terms of, so this is a little bit sidetracking. We can come back to the bad one. But in terms of like mystery, isn't the like Glass Onion?
Yeah. Did you see it?
No, I haven't. I've always been recommended the like Knives Out series.
Oh, you haven't seen.
I've never seen any of those.
Okay. I feel like you'd enjoy them.
Yeah, I really like Clue, like the original.
Oh, then you'll love this. Yeah,
because that's what people have told me. It's kind of like a little bit of like not specifically a tribute, but just on the same theme.
It's definitely Clue, and he has described it as like Agatha Christie, but today, because I wouldn't know because I haven't read any.
Yeah.
But the like Agatha Christie thing was like, it was just like mysteries, but while also commenting on sort of the like political and, just like poking fun at the culture of that time, which now, doesn't really affect us. So like remaking Agatha Christie novels as movies, it's just like a period piece now.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of trying to take a reflective look at our culture while also telling this like fun mystery story.
That's cool.
Lots of fun. I'd highly recommend it. I feel like you'd really enjoy it.
So why does it have a separate name?
It's they apparently the like a Knives Out mystery was a thing that Netflix like insisted upon so that people knew that it was the same property. But the only connection is Daniel Craig's character, who's just like the detective.
Yeah.
So he's just the detective in both of them. That's it.
That's
the only connection.
Are the first, because there's two Knives Out, right? Or do they have?
No, there's Knives Out, and then there's this one, which is Glass Onion. a Knives Out mystery.
Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, somewhere I got mixed up. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's confusing, and it should have just been called Glass Onion, and then they could have like marketed it as. Yeah. Anyway, it's just like a fun mystery story, and the only like real link is Daniel Craig's character, who's like this like Southern
which
detective.
I will say, when I saw the trailer for the first time, I think for Knives Out, I was like a little hard to take seriously, but I still need to go to watch.
Like that accent, and then like if you go back, if you've seen Logan Lucky, he's like kind of doing the same, like South, but not like I think they're from like Virginia or like West Virginia, and Logan Lucky, and it's this. He's kind of doing the same thing, but it's really, really funny.
Gotcha. I was gonna ask if you like have anything that like has gotten great ratings and like has a lot of hype around it, but you personally don't really agree with. I have one, and maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah.
The Menu.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I don't think it was bad.
No.
Like it was definitely entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I
was trying to unpack what it was trying to do as well.
Well, it seems like most people are like interpreting it as like a, eat the rich.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, it's the rich eating the rich.
Kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's what I was trying to unpack.
That's where the critique that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Well, and like the chef's whole motivation was like, I'm okay with, I guess, fast forward if you don't want it spoiled, but if his whole motivation was like, the rich people don't really care about this kind of quality of food, so they deserve to die. But I'm also then like, well, I feel like if your specific food is targeting rich people, I think we can all have common sense and think that rich people do things sometimes just because they can and not because they
I think that's more of what it was that everybody was like rich and not. I think it was specific.
Give this good food to poor people and they'll be like, this is the most amazing thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I understand. I was like, I feel like there's better ways to go about this.
Yeah, and I feel like some of it was just like they've everyone's transgressed in some way that has, which is related to their wealth.
Yeah.
And this was like a punishment for that. I don't.
But then there was like the one girl, which it was supposed to be comedic, and it was. But the one girl that like just went to Brown, and he was like, "Do you have student loans?" And she was like, "No." And then like he was like, gave the look that you deserve to die.
Yeah.
I think it was also hard for me to picture Anya Taylor-Joy as like an escort or like of lower socioeconomic status, just because her face is so well known, and her appearance also. Not to say that like, people you can't judge a book by its cover, but I think her being that role was a little bit felt off to me. Mm-hmm. But not that she did a bad job or anything, but I just think it was like felt a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, did you see her other big movie from this year, The Northman?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
See, that's crazy that came out this year, too.
Yeah, I know.
Or last year, I guess.
Well, you can watch it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, there you go.
I should have been plugging where you can watch these, because most of these are like streaming, which is crazy to me. Yeah. But I've just been like pushing people onto The Northman, and I feel like that's one that I should have. I'm probably underrating in my like list of.
I will say, I think I noticed that you don't have 1 5-star from the year.
No, so
not
to like devolve into how I rate things on Letterboxd.
No, you're good.
But I've kind of set the rule for myself of don't rate anything 5 stars on the first watch.
Okay.
Because it's like I feel like I come out from movies sometimes for the first time seeing it and being like, that was amazing, and I don't see any of the flaws in it, and I feel like if I just put it at 4.5, and then whenever I come back to it and watch it again, And if I still feel the same way, then I'll bump it up to 5.
That's a good rating.
Yeah. So that's why none of them. I feel like I've been really wanting to up like Nope and Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I'd probably throw Top Gun in there too. Of like those are the ones that I kind of want to throw up to 5 stars, but I just haven't rewatched them again. Tar and Babylon 2.
So the highest rating film from 2022 on Letterboxd is Batman.
Yeah.
And then the next one is Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the next one is Nope.
Yeah. It's also, I feel like some of it's just like, that's a lot of people have watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Batman and Everything Everywhere All at Once and Nope have been the ones that like everybody's been watching and rewatching from this past year.
Yeah. But yeah, going back, I don't know if you had anything else to say about the menu.
No, I mean, there was a couple other, that was like a kind of a common theme with some of the movies. It was like a giant, I've seen like a Venn diagram of like social critique, Eat the Rich, and then like the two of them together.
Yeah.
And like the menu was in that middle section, and so it was like Ruben Osterlund's Triangle of Sadness, which I haven't seen, so I can't really speak to. But then also like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is like out there with like the social critique, which was another fun little, I don't know what you would call it. Like I'd categorize it as like a fun mystery movie.
Gotcha.
It was less horror than it was advertised as. So that was a fun one if you're looking for something to check out.
Gotcha. I feel like I have to have like some certain mindset before I go into an A24 movie.
This one was fine. I mean, I feel like I talked to a couple of people, and some people were like really put off because like Pete Davidson was in it, and they're like not big on him. And I was like, he's kind of doing his thing. He's also, it's kind of like one of those castings where it's like he's playing to his persona, and he's like, he is kind of an asshole in the movie, and you're just kind of like, I don't like you, and then he like disappears, and spoilers, but he's like the first one to be killed, so there's not much of him in it.
Yeah, I think you actually had brought that up in our slasher episode over October. I talked because I remember Zach was like, I don't like Pete Davidson. And you're like, well, this is the movie for you,
because he dies right away.
Which I think it's not Suicide Squad. The new one didn't come out in 2022, correct?
No, that was last year.
Okay,
or 2021.
But same thing.
Yeah, same thing. He died pretty quick. Yeah,
I'm like, they just get him just to put him on, the cast.
Yeah, I don't know,
to say a few funny lines, but I don't have a problem. But I think it's just it's funny that it happened twice.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there anything that surprised you this year?
I feel like I've already talked about Barbarian.
I was going to say we haven't talked about Barbarian yet.
That's probably just my favorite of the year. I just really liked it. I know we've talked about it a bunch. I think it was a really unique idea. Great balance of horror and humor, going from like an incredibly stressful and scary scene to then laughing really hard. Also seeing it in the theater really helped. I actually haven't watched it since then, which I'm looking forward to watching it again. But
I did watch it again with a friend. And yeah, I think it was like one of the big surprises from this year, because it just kind of like came out of nowhere and then like blew up, and it was really, really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like we've talked about that a lot, so I don't feel like we need to go too in depth with that.
On the topic of horror, and I think I mentioned it in our other horror episodes because we had a lot of them this year. But X and Pearl were like a really great double feature. I think I liked X a lot more, just because that was the other one that I was missing. That one's definitely about making movies.
You different kind of movie.
Different kind of movies, but still about making movies.
Yeah.
But those two were a really good double feature, and there's a third one coming out sometime this year.
That's cool.
So I'm excited to see more of that.
Yeah, cinematically, X was like really aesthetically appealing.
Yeah. Did you finish watching it?
No, I never finished it. But I did see the scene that you really like with the headlights.
Yeah. And Blue Oyster Cult playing on the like old radio. Yeah.
And homie just vibing.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It's also I didn't realize that the girl that plays Wednesday, I'm forgetting her name.
Oh, Jenna Ortega.
That cast is really interesting. Like Kid Cudi.
Yeah, Kid Cudi. And then, I forgot about Kid Cudi.
I'm forgetting the main girl's name as well.
Mia Goth, who's like got some really good stuff.
Yeah, that whole that cast is just like I don't know. It's really interesting. It's like very.
We'll come back to Mia Goth when we're looking at what we're looking forward to next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you have the Bob's Burgers movie.
Yeah, I did go to theaters to go see that.
Wow. So
I took my girlfriend wanted to go see it, and I took her to go see it. It
was
fine.
I really like Bob's Burgers.
Uh-huh.
I hate the music.
Yeah.
Like
there was a couple of musical numbers in this one.
Is the whole thing not a musical?
No, it's not.
Because I started I think my mom wanted to watch it. We watched the first 10 minutes. I was like, I don't know if I can do this because it was like back-to-back songs. But maybe I pulled out too soon.
I'm trying to remember. There were a lot of songs. I feel like it slowed down as the movie went on, but there were a lot of songs in it. Yeah.
Well, and like used to in like the early seasons, there'd be a song every now and then. It wouldn't be too bad. But then it got to like somewhere I think. All their scripts were coming up too short, so they're like, we need to fill like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's do a song.
Yeah.
And that like, especially in the newer seasons, they do that I literally just fast forward through it.
So I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but I was listening to this is related, but not really.
Okay, no, you're good.
I was just listening to my favorite podcast, Blank Check, and one of the guys on there pitched the idea that I don't remember if it was one of them or one of their guests, but they pitched the idea that because the like Fantastic Four casting for the Marvel movies has been like, around the internet for a while, and they still haven't announced who's going to be taking on those roles. But they pitched the idea of H. John Benjamin as the Thing. Mm-hmm. And I can't, I really want that to happen now. And I can't think of a better, just because it's he's going to be in the movie for 10 minutes. He can be kind of schlubby. And then from then on, it's all a voice performance.
Yeah, that's really funny. I feel like he could do a good voice, or at least do his normal voice and mix it up. I think it could be really funny.
Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to. I've been spreading that around as much as I could because I was that's a really good casting idea. And anyways,
well, and to my knowledge, I mean, I've maybe seen one of the early 2000s Fantastic Four, and I feel like I remember him being a pretty comedic character thing.
Yeah,
but maybe I'm wrong. But.
The other one that I just thought of because he's kind of having his whole renaissance right now is Brendan Fraser. Might be kind of fun.
Yeah. Can see that.
He was in the Batgirl movie that's not coming out. He was the villain. So that sucks. We won't ever get to see that.
I was trying to, since I jumped Bob's Burgers, I was seeing if there was any other good animation movies.
Turning Red, which came out at the beginning of the year. I don't know if you saw it.
I turned it on one time when I was going to bed, so meaning I haven't watched it.
It's really, really
watched,
good.
The first half or something.
It was. It's really frustrating that it went straight to Disney Plus and not to the theaters. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was really, really good, and it was probably the best Pixar movie in a long while. I really liked Soul and Luca, so I'd put those up there with it. But I feel like those three have been some really good output from the Pixar people. There has kind of died out. Lightyear, I wasn't a huge fan of Lightyear.
I was going to ask you, or were you going to say something about Lightyear?
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to...
I was going to say, did you ever watch Wendell in the Wild?
I didn't. I was keeping the Blank Check podcast. Was covering the director Henry Selick. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of keeping up watching. I watched The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I watched Caroline. Mm-hmm. kind of keeping up with as they were going through the films, but I didn't watch Wendell and Wild.
Because I know he directed it, but I thought maybe Peele and Key had something to do with the writing.
I think they wrote it.
Yeah, that's what it...
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, how many...
Yeah, maybe, or produce... I don't know. Let's look.
Under producers, Peele is at least under that. And Peele is also listed as a writer.
Okay.
So I guess Key just was a voice actor. At least at the list I'm looking at.
Yeah. I'm suffering from my chronic problem of not being able to spell and cannot pull it up.
It's all good.
So...
Yeah, it says under Letterboxd he's just a voice, whereas...
Okay.
At least Key's just a voice, and Peele had some of the production and writing too. Man, homie did almost 2 movies in a year. Good job. But I, because Henry selected Coraline. I was really excited for it. Again, I watched like the first hour and then fell asleep.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to it.
I've heard that it's very dense. In like its plotting. Like there's a lot to take in. They give you a lot in the first couple minutes of the movie.
It's also a little darker. She experiences some trauma at the beginning. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That I'm kind of surprised is in a kid's movie. I mean, I get like in Coraline we kind of have stuff like that. Like she kind of is neglected, it kind of seems. Because she just kind of does whatever she wants and her parents never really monitor her. But I think that's a little bit harder for a kid to interpret. Whereas like something that the kind of big thing that happens to Wendell in this one is like, I feel like pretty digestible for any age, but it's nothing horrible or anything, but it is just, I remember I was watching, I was like, dang, this is a kid's movie? Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe we can come back to it after you watch it.
Yeah. What else have we not mentioned?
This is also nice because we have times if you can look at it.
Yeah. When did I start this?
15 minutes ago. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Too.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got it right here too. I was just making sure that...
I can also see the battery. Not how it just a picture of it, but no.
Oh yeah, we're at 23%.
Oh, doing pretty good.
Pretty good. Sorry, we got distracted by recording. What have we not? Oh, we haven't talked about Top Gun Maverick.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
I'm not a huge Tom Cruise movie lover.
Yeah.
Not that I don't know. I just like I think I'm probably just being like Mission Impossible, and that, or is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. So those movies have their place. I think I just don't gravitate toward them, but I can't even remember if I've seen the original Top Gun. And maybe that's...
Yeah. I don't know. I've never really ran into people who are like just not big into Tom Cruise, but really? now I know 2 of them. Yeah, it's. I was talking to Wes about it last night because he also hasn't seen it yet, and I was like, it's just like Christopher McQuarrie, the screenwriter, or I don't know if he's this. Did he write the whole thing? I know he helped. I know he definitely helped because he's like one of Tom Cruise's guys now. But he's been writing the new Mission Impossible movies. But he's just like really good at what he does, like plotting. And the construction of like the mission and how it all plays out is just like really simple and really effective. It just makes you really pay attention to like what's going on, and then not really pay attention to what the exciting stuff is going to be until it's in your face and you're excited by it.
Yeah. I think I just don't like just a whole lot of like action-y stuff. I get a little bored.
Yeah.
But that's just my own. That's my own.
Well, if you're looking for a good drama,
okay.
I haven't talked about The Banshees of Inisherin yet. That was the other. That's probably the other one from this year that I watched, liked, and I feel like I'm underrating to myself and need to like rewatch at some point. It's about these two friends living in Ireland, and one of them decides that he doesn't want to be friends anymore. That's kind of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that a non-American produced film?
No, I don't know. I don't know who produced it.
It's not. I was gonna ask eventually if there's any like international films.
I've been really lacking on this year's international films.
Gotcha. You're good.
I don't even think I've seen one. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, no, I don't think I've seen any of the international features from this year. Oh, RRR is the only one that I've seen.
Gotcha.
But I guess the ones to look out for were Saint Omer, the one that Wes was talking about last night.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's France's submission for Best International Feature. All Quiet on the Western Front, the Netflix movie, is from Germany, I believe. It's a World War I movie that apparently is really good. It's also really long, like 2 hours and 2:20 maybe, 2:40. I don't remember. There's a South Korean movie called Broker, which is out right now and apparently is good. I've been meaning to get to the theaters to see it. Haven't. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. There's been a couple, but I just haven't seen any of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I've got a small list of things that are really fun that people can watch right now.
Go for it.
So like they're streaming. Ambulance, Michael Bay's new movie. Really, really fun if you like action movies.
Nice.
So not no. Basically, this guy and his brother rob a bank. Things go wrong. They end up in an ambulance with EMT and a cop who's been shot, and they're just like trying to escape the police as they're driving through LA.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Some really cool drone shots that like haven't really been in like blockbuster movies yet.
Nice.
What else? I talked about Barbarian. Oh, Ambulance is streaming on Prime Video. And we talked about Barbarian. That's on HBO. Prey, the Predator movie that came out on Hulu, is really good. I'd recommend people check that out. Confess Fletch was like another fun little mystery movie. I don't remember where it's streaming somewhere. Hulu maybe. I talked about Glass Onion. That's on Netflix. Hustle was a lot of fun. It's just like an Adam Sandler basketball movie that's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. With the main player is like a real NBA player. I think.
I forget what his.
I don't think he's.
I forget what the basketball player's name is. I know Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards gives a really good villain performance in that movie.
I think I remember watching like a short video on essay about like how good he did or something.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Something I watched over break that was really fun was Emily the Criminal. It was like an Aubrey Plaza like thriller, which was another like kind of etherish but not really kind of story. What else? I don't know. That kind of wraps up most of the things. Oh, there's another animated movie, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Was it good?
It was good. Yeah. It was the best of the Pinocchio movies that came out this year, of which there were 3.
That is ridiculous. Pinocchio, scary story.
Yeah, not
fun.
Not exactly Disney material, but somehow it is.
But I was wondering, like, because just even going based off the original animated one, like, I was weirded out as a kid when they, like, turned into donkeys and then are, like trafficking the donkeys. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
what's going on?
This is really scary. So was this one more lighthearted, or did it still
well, it's got that, like...
I can see him trying to do something.
It's got that Del Toro kind of darkness to it. Like the let's, kind of... What's the word? Not... Like, kind of, let's shove fascism as bad into the story as well.
Okay.
But I feel like that's usually... Like, that's kind of part of the story anyways.
Yeah.
But he, like, always kind of tries to throw that into his movies, and especially, like, have you seen Pan's Labyrinth or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a while, but yeah.
It's like Pinocchio made by the guy who made Pan's Labyrinth, if that makes sense. That's the best way to try and put it, is it really leans into the fantastical stuff, but also leans into the, like, realism and how war can...
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of big topics.
Yeah. And it's beautifully animated.
Yeah.
Really, really beautifully animated.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was saying, like, Pan's Labyrinth definitely brings up hard topics. So
yeah,
that's cool. This is completely not related, but are you aware of the theory that the donkey in Shrek is one of the donkeys from Pinocchio?
No, I'm not.
There's like a whole video. I think Film Theory does like a video on it. Yeah. But it's really funny and kind of convincing. But it's when, because Pinocchio is still in Shrek, it's the trafficking has happened way before. Mm-hmm. So it's like still going on. So Pinocchio in the Shrek universe has still not gotten there yet.
Yeah.
But it's already happened, a donkey.
There's a couple more that I'm like looking at the list I want to shout out real quickly. Where did I want to go? The Woman King is another like really good action movie from this year. Just like a really solid movie. I feel like it was maybe going to get some awards attention, but now, don't know. You can watch it on Kane Flicks.
Hey, students.
Yeah. Violent Night was one that surprised me. You were asking about which one surprised me. I feel like that was another one. Because I was like, oh man, another, like Christmas horror movie.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't that. I remember watching the first trailer and seeing the poster and being like, oh, it's going to be another, like, spooky Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Not really my vibe. And then it was, like, another fun action movie.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like we already talked about Christmas horror, I think, and, like, when we were talking about Christmas movies, but I did think it was, like... They literally, I think, tried to play with kind of the Hallmark cheesy kind of just structure of a movie and like dialogue while also that stuff was happening. I haven't seen it, but I'm just saying like based on like the clips that I saw.
Yeah, it had some of that. It also, I was surprised it had like a lot of the like traditional Christmas movie like heart to it of like, oh, it's we're like, let's teach Santa to love again, almost. That, like, it was kind of like a Santa is feeling really depressed about the state of the world, and it's like this little girl inspired him to keep being Santa. It was kind of the arc of Santa in the movie.
Gotcha, that's funny.
But there was also a little bit of fun, like they tried to play it seriously, but like thinking back on it, it's like really funny. Of like he was like some like Nordic Viking warrior who like killed a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden he like, I don't know, through whatever had like the Santa thing like put on him, and so he's like killing people. He's like, man, I really, you know, like I need my like hammer or whatever. And his hammer had really like funny, but really good.
Gotcha.
And then I felt like I mentioned all the other movies that I really loved from this year, but I haven't mentioned Tar yet. And Tar was just another really, really good. I don't know. It's one that I've just like keep thinking about, keep wanting to. I think I'm going to try and go back to it maybe this weekend if I have time. Just because I saw it in the theaters, I was like blown away by it, and that was one of the things, I don't know, just to kind of put a cap on our conversation, is one of the things that I was listening to someone say, and I think that it's like holds true, is the highs were really high this year and the lows were really low, and then there was a lot of like just mid.
Steady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like nothing was like, it wasn't like a great year, but the great parts of the year were really, really great. Like Top Gun Maverick, Avatar, which I haven't really talked about yet either, but really technically impressive. Nope, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like there's had some really high highs, and then some. Everything else was just sort of in the middle. So
yeah, I definitely.
I don't know. How'd you feel about the year?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't keeping up with newer movies as much as you were, but I feel like, and also I don't know if this is just me getting more into movies and watching more, but I feel like it was like pretty good year in terms of just like like Everything Everywhere at Once, Batman, Barbarian. Like I 3 movies that are definitely up there for me. Like came out this year, so
it feels like we're on our way back.
Like from pandemic,
where everything was just like, just put out whatever we can.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a very kind of limited perspective for me, but I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I think you have a good take on it, though.
Yeah,
there being a lot of good movies, not so great, and then a lot of just kind of steady.
It's not. I wouldn't call it my take. I kind of picked it off, but yeah, I think it's a good encapsulation of what this year was.
I don't think I saw this on your list, but did you see Uncharted?
I did. I feel like a lot of people really didn't like it, but I had a fun time.
So I was just curious, just because like why am I blanking? The show that just came out like last week.
Oh, The Last of Us.
Yeah, I was wondering. I feel like that, because a lot of times video games get adopted
really bad
into
movies.
Film.
Yeah.
But I was curious because The Last of Us, I feel like everybody's just raving about it, talking about how good it is. So I was just curious. I feel like no one really talked about Uncharted.
Here's the big difference.
Okay.
At least how I see what the big difference is that I haven't played The Last of Us and I haven't played Uncharted. It's very story based. It's like it seems like there's some gameplay, but it feels like a visual novel with some gameplay sprinkled in.
I was talking
more
to someone,
so than Uncharted.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about it too, and he's like, I never liked playing them because I just wanted to go and do my own thing, but I had like a whole story. But I really like the Telltale games and The Walking Dead and stuff like that. So I remember liking The Last of Us, but
yeah, I've never had a PlayStation, so haven't played any of them. They sound really cool though.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, since that was up and coming, I thought about asking.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I feel like people really didn't like it. I don't know. It's on Netflix. Check it out if you want.
Got you. ending thoughts? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to swing into what we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything?
I don't know.
Kind of click on 2023. Maybe while you're looking, I'll cook for a bit. The big one, the big day in movies in 2023 is, I think it's like July 21st. I think it's the date. But we have Barbie and Oppenheimer on the same day. So I'm looking forward to that double feature.
Okay. I just saw Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about that.
Indiana Jones 5, directed by James Mangold, the guy behind Logan and Ford v Ferrari and The Wolverine and 3:10 to Yuma and others.
Well, I didn't even know that was a thing, but I'm excited.
I think it'll be pretty good. Harrison Ford is back.
I'll say what I'm most excited for.
What's that?
The Super Mario Bros. Movie. I think I'm a little like, I don't really like Chris Pratt being Mario.
Honestly,
but
really well animated though.
It looks good.
I'm like, I after spending an entire semester like really only doing like modeling work for one project, I'm like, I watched the trailer and was just like blown away at how nice everything looks. But I feel like that's just going to be me like appreciating animation more in the future. But it was also just like, it looks really, really good.
It did look really good. And like, I want to watch it regardless. Like, even if it's like, I feel like it'll either be good or it'll be like bad good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of animated, Hayao Miyazaki's new movie comes out next year. Tentative. I'm not sure if it's the tentative title or if that's actually the title, but right now it is titled "How Do You Live?" And there's a cool little bird. Looks like a person wearing a bird helmet or like mask as the poster. It comes out in Japan in July, so hopefully that means that it'll be in the States by like December. So hopefully we'll get to see it next year. We'll see. But that's something to look forward to.
Gotcha.
What else? I'll just try and jump to the big highlights that I'm really excited for. New John Wick in like 2 months. I didn't really like keep up with them as they were coming out, but now that I've finally caught up, I've been like constantly rewatching them because they're really, really good.
Nice.
We're getting another Ari Aster movie. It's called Beau is Afraid. It's going to be his third feature after Hereditary and Midsommar.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that with Joaquin. Yeah.
So that'll be good. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see more from him.
Oh, no, sorry, keep going.
Let's see. Dune Chapter 2. Excited for that. First one was really good. I feel like... Have you seen it? I feel like we've talked about it in your...
Say it again?
Dune?
Mm-mm.
No?
Okay. I've heard it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I just remember having the conversation. Maybe it was with someone else.
I think it was with Wes because he was talking about how he had looked at that, or they had looked at the script, I think, in his script writing class or something.
Oh, maybe.
One I am looking forward to is Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, I think, like February, so the first few days in February.
I was like not sure how I felt about Shyamalan, and then I finally saw Old, like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Really good. I was like really impressed with that one.
Yeah.
And this one looks similarly really interesting. So
Rupert Grant coming back.
Another one that comes out in like a couple of weeks is Infinity Pool. This is the Mia Goth movie that I was referencing earlier. It's the third feature from Brandon Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son, who is like doing the same thing. Just like a ton of really weird sci-fi horror So I'm excited for that. It's also got Alexander Skarsgård in it, who is like slowly becoming one of my favorite actors. And I guess another star from X and Scream. There's the sixth Scream movie is coming out next year. Did you see Scream?
I've seen the original, but not the new one.
Not the new one. Okay. She is in the new one, and she's going to be in this one as well.
Cool.
What else? I don't know. That's like a pretty good.
There's also a new. I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, but
that's
I feel like
thank you. That's a good one to end on.
So Across the Spider-Verse is
there's a new Spider-Verse movie. There's a ton of like Marvel movies and stuff, but that's. I don't know. I'm really tired of them right now. We'll see. Maybe Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy will bring me back in, but
there's
excited about Spider. I've always been pitching
Rise of the Beast.
I've always been pitching a Transformers. We need to go back and watch the Transformers movies again podcast.
I'm down.
Because I'm a huge defender of the third one. I think it's really good.
I've maybe only seen the first one, maybe the second. I remember having a PS2 Transformers game. So it was like a free roam. You just walk around the city as a Transformer. I really liked it.
My friend, growing up, he didn't have any like video game consoles at his house. So whenever there was like a birthday party or something, he would like get in all his video game playing there. Yeah. He played like I think it was the tie-in game for like the third Transformers movie.
Yeah.
He was playing it on my DS and had like a blister on his thumb from playing it for so long.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
That's a real gamer right there.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good summary of what we got coming. Lots of like IP stuff. Not a lot of. I feel like there'll be some original stuff once we like really get into the year and know like what's coming. But there's a lot of IP stuff that's really exciting. There was one more that I wanted to say. Creed 3. You like the Creed movies?
Never seen them. I've only seen the first Rocky.
I watched Creed on the plane. I've never seen any of the Rocky movies, but I've seen Creed. And Creed was really, really good. I didn't know it was Michael B. Jordan that was going to be directing it.
Oh, wow.
I thought Ryan Coogler was back to direct, but I guess he wrote it.
Because he's in it as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the main
starring
guy.
And directing.
Oh, props to him.
Yeah, props to him. I'm curious. I'm excited to see it. Jonathan Majors in it. Have you seen the trailer for this?
No, I haven't.
I've never seen a man that big in my life, ever. Jonathan Majors is like jacked.
That's interesting.
I'm pulling up a picture for you so you can react to this.
Live reaction right here.
Yeah, we'll get it on video too. Yeah, like I don't know if he's like. Oh, we're moving the camera.
It went out.
Why?
Did it die? No, it's plugged in.
No, it's plugged in.
Right, the universe didn't want me to know.
What it's blocked. Oh, we just got my computer password on video.
Yeah, he looks pretty ripped.
Where's? I don't know. Maybe there's. I feel like there's some pictures in the trailer, or there's some shots in the trailer where he's like flexing, and I'm like, I've never seen anyone with that many. Like he looks like Arnold.
Yeah, that's funny.
Or like Stallone in the original Rocky. It's just insane. Anyways, that's our review of 2022 movies.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I wanted to say? That was. I'm sorry. We need to be done. We have someone who's supposed to like come here and like record in a couple of minutes, and we're gonna cut it into their time. The other international feature that I forgot about is Decision to Leave. That apparently is really good, and I just have not made the time for it yet. I need to get myself a movie subscription. Don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
That's the last thing.
Okay,
It's just looking back at my list. So yeah,
thanks.
That's 2022 in review. Thanks for doing this with me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks
for everyone for watching, maybe.
Or listening.
I don't know. Where are we going to put this? YouTube?
Oh, just the same our YouTube channel.
Okay.
We can put that, the audio might go up first, but but we can still put a link to our YouTube in the description. But this is the first recording of the semester, so we got some more stuff coming.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if anyone's going to try and record today. Maybe if they do, we'll try and film them.
Okay.
We'll tell them, we need you to film. So.
Got you. All right.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thanks. See you next time.